Welcome to week 7. We're going to be discussing the treatment of anxiety disorders. So looking at some symptoms and causes. So it's looked at a linking of abnormal regulation of neurotransmitters, specifically serotonin, GABA, and glutamate. There's also a strong comorbidity among anxiety disorders, so meaning that if you have one type of anxiety disorder, the likelihood of having another type is very high. There's similar symptoms, but the presentation may be different in the types of anxiety disorders. But the similar symptoms, usually the same type of medication, can be used to treat both. So typically include the following symptoms: everything from trembling, general nervousness or tension, to insomnia, to poor concentration, sweating, rapid heartbeat, dizziness. But as a therapist, you need to determine the intensity, duration, and quality of each of these types of symptoms to see if it links more to one type of anxiety. It's important to rule out any physical conditions that might be causing the symptoms. For example, alcoholism or substance use can create anxiety-related symptoms. Any cardiac problems, so if feeling like your heart rapid heartbeat, it might actually be something wrong with the heart. A delirium, hyperthyroidism could be related to a concussion, so the aftermath of concussion, seizure disorder, or premenstrual syndrome or PMS. And also, many substances can cause or exacerbate anxiety. So, for example, anything that's a stimulant, so amphetamines, diet medication, asthma medications that are stimulant types of medications, decongestants, cocaine, caffeine, steroids. These are all stimulants, so they're increasing heart rate, they're increasing maybe sweating, so it might feel like anxiety, but in fact it is the substance that's causing the symptoms, or it might make somebody with an anxiety disorder feel more anxious. Withdrawal from antidepressants, anti-anxiety, and other substances of abuse can cause anxiety. So coming off a medication or other substances. So for example, when you're withdrawing off of a heroin or other kind of depressant type substance, it actually increases your body's symptoms, and it looks like an anxiety, but actually it's a withdrawal from a depressant. Treatment and medication depends on the type and severity of the anxiety disorder. But anxiety typically responds quite well to psychotherapy, so talk therapy. So relaxation, cognitive therapy, cognitive behavioral therapy are the best choices. But medication and therapy together offer the best relapse prevention of symptoms. There's a link here to the Anxiety Disorder Association of Canada looking at specific types of treatments. I'd like you to pause this voice over now and take a look at that website for more information. Specifically look at panic disorder with and without agoraphobia. Agoraphobia meaning fear of going outside or big spaces. So to diagnose, it looks at having 4 or more intense attacks within a 1-month period. That's what a doctor would be looking at to make a diagnosis. So panic attacks are like a false alarm. So your body is reacting to something that's not an actual threat. So it's a dysregulation of the limbic system, serotonin depletion, excessive glutamate, and insufficient amounts of GABA that could be causing the panic attack. When large amounts of cortisol and adrenaline are produced, so cortisol is the stress hormone, the person is in constant or chronic state of arousal, so they're always on edge, always anticipating something bad could happen. The stress in the body causes these hormones to suppress immune functions and increase in blood pressure. So when that happens, these chronic conditions, so if you have a constant lower immune system and constantly high blood pressure, it's more linked to medical illnesses, cardiac problems, and to cancer. Benzodiazepines and alcohol bind to chloride ion channels in the brain, and this can provide a calming effect. So that's why alcohol can help sometimes somebody who's anxious and help calm them down. So there are 3 stages involved in treating a panic disorder. So the first stage is therapist who's seeing the person experiencing intense anxiety and needs relief. So it's an immediate need to help. It's a short-term solution, but it's enough so the person can start to work on some other, either other medications that are longer term, or they can help in short term, but it's not meant for long. The worry is that somebody who's taking a short-term solution, so something like a Xanax or an Ativan, the doctor prescribing doesn't always follow up, but it seems like they're cured. The person's cured because they keep taking this short-term medication because they don't have the symptoms anymore, but actually they haven't changed what's causing the panic. So the second stage of treatment is looking at an antidepressant. So once the panic attacks are controlled, probably with a fast-acting benzodiazepine, the antidepressants will help to raise the serotonin levels and help to regulate the limbic system. So SSRIs and MAOIs are the two types of medication, but SSRIs have fewer side effects than MAOIs. So the third stage is cognitive behavioral therapy. So once the acute symptoms are more under control, then the person can start to learn to manage their anxiety without creating any avoidance behaviors. So, for example, avoidance behaviors might be avoiding all shopping malls because once they had a panic attack at a shopping mall. And same with anticipatory anxiety. So therapists can help encourage the person to go outside, to not avoid or isolate themselves, which may result in creating more phobias. And of course, the fears, the longer they go untreated, will increase. So the longer that a person goes with these fears, it is harder to overcome. The person may experience an increased level of arousal at first. So when you're engaging with the symptoms and you're trying to learn relaxation techniques, it actually can increase the level of anxiety at the beginning, but then it can improve as it's practiced. So when prescribing medications like benzodiazepine, you need to make sure that there's no history of substance use because these medications are addicting. So you need to be careful and perhaps prescribing something that's longer acting, like a clonazepam as opposed to an Ativan might be better. So once the antidepressants have started to work, the benzodiazepine should be tapered off, but not too quickly because it might actually cause the panic attack to return. So generalized anxiety, there's differing beliefs about GAD. Some believe that it's a behavioral condition and should only be treated with therapy and not medication, but also some believe that GAD is more similar to depression than anxiety. But it does respond well to a combination of medication and psychotherapy, specifically cognitive therapy to help see patterns and behaviors in their actions as related to their anxiety. Some the best medication include SSRIs like Prozac and Paxil. Buspirone helps relieve depression for anxious patients with mood concerns, so with depression. But also make sure that when you are telling somebody about medication that it does take a while to start to feel the effects, and they shouldn't stop taking it or take more thinking that it would help faster. It does take a while, about a month or so, to really start to notice any effect. And also being careful with prescribing or having sleep aids. So for somebody who's struggling with insomnia, it might be better to start with an antidepressant and see if that helps with the sleep as opposed to starting with a sleep medication. So PTSD, so it used to be treated with benzodiazepines and neuroleptics, especially for somebody who might have some psychotic type behaviors related to the PTSD. But today it's more SSRIs that are used to treat PTSD. But other things like mood stabilizers and atypical neuroleptics can be used for agitation, combative, or psychotic symptoms. So psychotherapy is very important. People need to slowly expose the event that caused the PTSD. And people with PTSD typically use substance to help dull the pain or anxiety. So we might need to look at something like a detox prior to starting medication to make sure it's effective. And things like SSRIs, again, are the most approved for PTSD. There's a link here to the Government of Canada, specifically Veterans Affairs, and looking at PTSD in veterans. So I'd like you to take a moment now to look that over. So OCD, stats say about 3% of the population suffer. It usually starts when they're in their 20s. Behavioral and cognitive behavioral treatments with medication offer the best possibility of treating the disorder. It is a genetic link, so it's likely that a relative will have something, either an OCD or something similar to an OCD. There seems the likely cause of OCD is a structural abnormality in a section of the brain called the caudate nucleus. It's looking at a functional dysregulation of these circuits in the brain. And some people wonder if OCD might be caused by infection during childhood, but we're also looking at the serotogenic, so serotonin systems in causing OCD. So treatment of OCD uses SSRIs, but it usually needs a much higher dose than what would be prescribed for depression. So if you see a higher dose, it's likely they're treating an OCD. Lower dose of atypical neuroleptics, so similar to something like risperidone, can be used to help with sleep and racing thoughts. There's a link here to the Stony Brook Hospital. It's specifically the OCD treatment, so I'd like you to take a moment to take a look at that website. Social anxiety disorder. Need to determine if the person has never had a history of panic disorder when doing an assessment. Many believe that social anxiety should be treated with psychotherapy only, but there are some medications that have proved effective. Those with social anxiety sometimes use alcohol in social situations to relieve symptoms, but again, this is dangerous because it could lead to an addiction. Benzodiazepines have been used to treat anxiety, but it does not allow the person to understand why they have the fears. So again, SSRIs, MMIs offer the best results, but also beta blockers similar to like a clonidine might be helpful. It is a short acting, so taking it an hour before going to the dentist might help calm some of the anxiety. Psychotherapy, behavioral-based treatments can help persons see the connection between the environment and their fears. Adjustment disorders and other phobic conditions. So you need to rule out PTSD or social anxiety and other long-standing anxiety disorders first. And if there's no history of other anxiety, then you need to be aware of a stressor that might be responsible and looking at counseling instead. In most cases, the symptoms of anxiety will go away within 6 months with treatment. Might be able to use a sleep aid for a very short time or a low-dose SSRI to help with anxiety. If the person's agitated and cannot relax enough to work or concentrate, you might need something like a sedating antidepressant to help. If the concerns are related to a loss, perhaps a grief counseling might be more appropriate than medication. And for phobias, looking at behavioral techniques would be more helpful, specifically maybe some exposure techniques rather than medication. Some things to be aware of. So looking at reducing caffeine, evaluate their diet, watch for excessive amounts of sugar or stimulants, such as soda, candy, cigarettes. These could all increase anxiety. But the 4 Bs for treating anxiety disorders: benzodiazepines, barbiturates, buspirone, and beta blockers. There is a video here I'd like you to pause and watch. It's about 22 minutes long. Go to Films on Demand at the Fleming website and search for this title, and it should come up. So I'd like you to take 22 minutes to watch that. So some side effects to be aware of. Benzodiazepines are usually well tolerated with minimal side effects, but need to look out for the highs, so somebody might like the feeling of the benzodiazepine. Should be cautious with seniors because they might fall. Need to assess for serious depressive disorder or psychotic disorder because the benzo might actually make it worse. No sudden withdrawal because it might increase anxiety. And buspirone, drowsiness, dry mouth, headaches, similar or common side effects. And sleep aids, only used for about 1 to 2 weeks, minimal side effects as well.